there are just so many badass women out there doing so many amazing things. I have been blown away. I literally just finished the Permission to Pause workshop, how to design your pretirement. And we just had the most impressive group of Gen X women show up to share their stories, to talk about their circumstances, to talk about what they needed to change, what areas of their life were draining them, what areas were filling them with joy. We brainstormed more ideas for creating joy. We pinpointed what needed to happen in the next 90 days. And more than anything, I think just the validation and understanding in community, to know that there are other women going through the same thing that you're going through, I think is invaluable. And I am just humbled and honored to have been able to share this space with this group of women today, this morning. And they're at such a turning point in their lives that I can relate to on so many levels. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Amy Palmer. I am your Gen X Big Sister. And this is, if you are new here, this is a weird video to jump in on, because I just wanted to follow up and share my gratitude for the women who participated in today's session. There was vulnerability, transparency. People were willing and able to share how they were thinking and how they were feeling. There were several times when we were surprised that somebody else said out loud something that has been going in our heads. And just the common shared experience of coming together. I have to get better at articulating that power. And in fact, I've even mentioned a few times that I need to get better at articulating it. The power, when you bring women together, when you bring them together in person, it's a whole other thing. And I am jazzed about the idea of doing that. But even bringing them together virtually, when you bring together like-minded women who have a shared goal and mission. And so our goal and mission today was, we want to make a fresh start. Maybe not start over, but we wanted to tweak or evolve or pivot and create, take the first step towards creating this next season of life that is beautiful and wonderful and fulfilling. That was our shared mission. When you bring women together who have very different stories with very similar emotions involved in those stories, very similar challenges, very similar hurdles, very similar insecurities, we're realizing our similarities in how we were conditioned, how we were raised, the blueprints that were forced upon us, all of those things. You can feel the power in the room, even the virtual room. You can feel the power, because we start to not only, maybe it's the whole thing of feeling like I'm not alone. When you go from feeling like I'm alone and I'm dealing with all of this and it just seems so incredibly insurmountable and overwhelming, when you go from that to realizing there is an entire beep, 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 I don't want to swear on this, generation of women who are experiencing the same thing together, all of a sudden that energy and that focus and that intention just expands. And if we're all focused together on doing something about it, it just feels more possible. And it just feels, the possibilities just open up. So there's this collective energy that happens. And that's what jazzes me, is creating those spaces, bringing women together to experience that feeling, that energy. It fuels you. It can fuel you to take the next step, whatever the next first step is. And that's what we experienced today. I took them through my framework of how to design your pretirement and what that looks like. They have assignments that they can work on and how they take this going forward, but it's one step at a time. I was just blown away, as I always am. I'm blown away by this every time I bring a group of women together like this. I get blown away with all that they've done in their lives, all that they've handled, all that they have overcome, all that they have achieved. The strength and the power and the resilience is just mind-blowing. Some of the gold nuggets that they shared at the end, what that they took away from our time together, so many of them put as one of their gold nuggets was some variation of, I'm not alone in this. There are other women out there going through the same thing. And a few of the women expounded on that, saying that, they thought there was something. Am I crazy? Am I depressed? Am I burnt out? Like, what am I? What is this? And the power of discovering that they're not alone in this. That was a very common gold nugget amongst them. The need for rest and space and time to prioritize themselves was another piece. And to do it without guilt. Guilt kept coming up. Guilt kept coming up as something that's getting in their way. So that even when we were making our joy jar of things that bring us joy, things that fill us up, there was guilt in that. Guilt in when I take the time to experience one of these joys, there's guilt over taking that time. And I guess taking that time away from somebody else. So that was, I know guilt and shame is a factor in a lot of this, but the guilt piece just repeatedly came up. Guilt over wanting to dial back at work, guilt over wanting to take a step back, guilt over wanting to take on less responsibility, wanting to work less hours, guilt. And I'm not 100% sure how to eliminate guilt. I can share how I approach it. I absolutely think that's a really great topic to dig into in a therapist, to get to kind of like the root of the guilt. And then someone like myself or a coach or a mentor can help with sort of more of the more action-oriented pieces of what to do as you're letting go of that guilt. That came up multiple times. The other topic that came up was one of the women shared how she's just started to practice getting used to not being liked. And I loved that because there were elements of her job that were stressing her out and that she wasn't feeling fully aligned with. And so she was taking different approaches, but she realized that some of what was keeping her from taking different approaches was what other people would think and how other people would feel about her. And so she's already ahead of the game, just sort of rethinking that and practicing letting go of what other people think and whether or not they like you, because we don't really care about that. So that was another common theme that came up. And I really enjoyed spending time. If you were one of the women that were in the room this morning, thank you for everything that you did to contribute to the experience and to contribute to each other. It was a beautiful, beautiful time together. I will be reaching out to you individually to see how things are going. And for those of you who weren't there in the room, I'm thinking about and working on a way for you to have access to some of the materials, some of the things that we're talking about. And I definitely have more stuff coming soon because I really think that this community piece is huge and necessary and we need it. I think it just feels so much easier to work through these things together as opposed to alone. My name is Amy Palmer. I am your Gen X Big Sister. My goal and my mission is to make the transition into this season of life filled with as much ease as possible, and to help Gen X women get the break that you deserve. So I'm your Gen X Big Sister, signing out.